These are 67mm 25g high pheasants. Shot size 6, which is an English shot size.
Yeah.
Suitable.
So it's a genuine 6?
That genuine 6, and it's suitable for both English side-by-sides and the over and unders, which are in 70mm or 76mm, as a lot of the modern shotguns are.
Brilliant.
That's what we're going to start with on this drive, and then we might possibly move up to something a little bit more tasty, such as High Pheasant Extreme 28g in 70mm.
Oh, good. That's what you thought.
That's got the extreme shot size.
Oh, so that's actually
that's a 5.5 rather than a 6. That's a true English 6.
Okay.
So those are the two cartridges we're going to be shooting today, Ed.
Brilliant. The most common question always asked me is, what's the equivalent? So my equivalent 12 bore in a 25g 6.
That's sort of 28g-ish, really.
And that would be the equivalent.
The 28 is really 32-ish.
Yeah.
To be fair,
that's what I would say.
There's no firm hard rule. The textbooks don't really talk about it. It's just an indication. We also do a 30g as well, which obviously 30g would be taking you to 32, 34g at performance.
Yeah.
So
this should perform like a 28, 30g.
Correct.
And that one would perform like a 32 or 30 to 32 gram.
Correct. That's right. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Let's just watch you do the business, Ed.
Right.
And then I'll follow afterwards.
I'll pick it up in the right place. Oh, that was pretty good. Most important thing when we're shooting partridges is to find that lovely window, find the pickup point. Obviously we've got our neighbours either side of us, and what I always do is draw a 45-degree line out from my peg up there, so you've got your nice 45-degree angle either side, and anything that's in that window there is fair game for us. But more importantly, we've got to have a pickup point. If A is here in our first collection point, B is where we're enjoying following the bird, and C is where we kill it. Absolutely every time we shoot, we want to start at A, B, C, kill it at C. So it's A, B, C. So there's your classic point of sort of what we're trying to achieve to shoot it.
Okay.
So if we then shoot one comes over there, pick it up at A, go to B, kill it at C. What we don't want to do then is pick one up at about Z.
No.
Because Z is all off balance. You can see my weight will go, and then suddenly I'm shooting stuff over there in no man's land. So what we've got to do is we've got to come back and collect the next bird at A again. And if we can do that, it's a bit like we were doing with grouse shooting, is you're always coming back to your central point. Here we've still got to come back to our nice, I always design, and when I'm on a drive like this, I always stick a big A in the sky, and it reminds me to keep looking there. So I come back to it each time.
And do you think a lot of shooters have got that discipline, or do they need to practice that and practice that?
That's their worst. I'd say that's the worst discipline that every shooter has.
Okay.
Is they'll come up, they'll look all good at the beginning, they'll pick up a bird, they'll go to shoot it, and then they'll chase another rubbish one instead of just coming back. Take a second to come back and look for the next bird again.
That's That's a really interesting point. That.
It's probably where people miss most. Okay. And then all we've got to do then is let these little chaps do the work.
Well, hopefully, Ed, by the end of the day, you'll have got my nasty habits away from me, and I might even be shooting like you by the end of the day.
Well,
really
I hope so.
Let's hope so, crew. Thank you. This is a good one.
That was very noticeable during the drive there, David. That I started with the High Pheasant, which is a 25g, nice shell, quick and smooth, and really smooth on the shoulder. But when we moved to the Extreme, there was a huge difference, and the difference was, I felt it was sort of much more impact and much more. So obviously that is where it comes in to the shot size, and the 70mm. There's just more in it.
Well, obviously you've got two things. You've got a little bit more weight, so you've got 3 grams extra shot, but you've got the all-important half size larger that tightens the pattern.
And speed-wise, what's the difference between the speed?
The speed on these is very similar. They're both rated at 1430.
Okay.
Which, as I've said previously, is an indication rather than an actual sort of measurement every shot.
And in real term, how much more, if you just did it roughly, pellets would there be in this one, the 28g to the 25g?
Well, in terms of numbers?
Yeah.
Oh, probably about another 30-40 pellets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big change.
Well, it just fills in the pattern.
Yeah.
Fills in that pattern.
And when you're shooting at high partridges, that makes a big difference. So one of the most important things, we're now got on our peg, both 12s and 20s, and from your point of view, you know, safety-wise, it's massive. But where's your angle on the safety of 12s and 20s?
Right, okay, the most important thing is the colour of the case. For a 20 gauge, it's always yellow. Okay, so that's a really good point. Now, if you're shooting
across the whole of your brand, all the drop deck,
all our 20 gauge shells are always yellow. Now, the reason for that is if you're shooting a 12 gauge, okay, then for whatever reason you've got a 20 gauge in your pocket.
Yeah.
If this was a 12 gauge gun, that will drop straight into the chamber.
Yeah.
In a hurry, you're looking to think, I haven't put a cartridge in. You then take the 12 gauge,
and stick it
you put it in, and then fire the gun, and the energy of the cartridge is blocked by the 20 gauge that's sitting in the forcing cones, and you'll then get a chamber burst. You'll definitely get a rupture.
Yeah.
So the most important thing about these little sort of beauties is that you remember what they are and you don't mix them with a 12 gauge.
No. Good.
Really important.
Excellent. Early. Good.
Is that all right, Ed?
That's perfect.
On camera?
Yeah. Get through it. Go on. A bit more. You hit that hard in the bottom wing.
Yeah.
We're going to have our pickup point, which is up there. Yeah. And then we're going to make sure that we stick to that. We might open up, because we're on the end peg, we might open it up to over here as well.
Got it.
But the key is to collect to the A, and when you on the last drive didn't, you came into the bird a little late and you collected it here and then went through the bird, which was fine. But what we need you to do is to make sure we collect the bird right in at A, and then we've got the sky to follow it and enjoy it.
Okay, understood.
Just for good measure. Straight away, on the button with them.
Good.
The other important thing that we were talking about and I was discussing with you is that when you actually do collect the bird, that you come into the bird nice and tight on the bird.
Yeah.
So, hence, that when you give it the lead then, you're literally on the bird, and then all you have to do is go out to the space and squeeze the trigger.
Yeah.
If you meet the bird slightly behind or too far behind, what you end up doing is the first bit of the shot is closing the gap, and the second bit of the shot is then giving it lead. Well, that takes a long time to find. So if there was a bird in the sky there, we're coming up to it, it's moving, we get there, bang, shoot straight at it, second shot, hopefully overtake it. The idea is to get on straight onto that bird and then neatly through it.
How did you find that? Right, the Imperial 30s, were they okay?
I think the Imperials are fantastic, and I think the progression from grouse shooting to partridge shooting, you don't need to change your brand. It's the perfect cartridge for both birds. And partridges don't take a lot of killing. Everyone, you know, they're a smaller bird, they're easier to penetrate than an old cocked pheasant that's going hard and high. And partridges don't take a lot of killing, so like grouse, what you're looking for is a good, fast, well-patterned cartridge. And this year, the people that I've seen on the grouse moors and the people that are now moving to partridge are sticking with the Imperial all the way through. Doesn't matter what height you're shooting at the moment, because the speed of the cartridge is so good and the pattern is so good, that really moving to the high pheasant is really for the pheasant shooting, in my opinion. And that's what I've been listening to people and watching them shoot.
The branding is sort of really a progression, 26 gram, 28 gram, 30 gram, 32s, and then for the guys that feel they really need more, shooting really extreme stuff, they can go to 34 and 36. So we've actually laid them on a plate, a range that they can just sort of move up to and sort of peg into the bit that they want. So, all right, I want some 26s, I want some 28s, I want some 28s, I want some 30s, I want to go 30, 32. There's a natural, like a progression there, so people can choose where they want to start and where they want to finish and just move along the range.